In this video, you will learn how to manually insert an image table in Word and how to fully customize it. At the end, I'll also show you how easy and efficient this can be done with a macro. In the first step, we have to insert a raw table and fully customize it. For that, we switch to the Insert tab, click on Table, and in the grid, we select how many columns we want. For the number of rows, we select 2. If we would now insert a large image into the table, you can see that it will distort the column width. So before inserting any image, we need to fix all the table settings. We do a right click on the table and select Table Properties. In the new window, we click on Options and then we uncheck the box which says Automatically Resize to Fit Contents. If we now insert an image, the column width will stay fixed. However, we can see some white space around the image, so let's also remove that. We click into the table and go to the Layout tab within the Table Tools. Here we click on Cell Margins and now we set all margins to 0. And you can see why it is important to change all these settings before inserting the images, because the image size will not automatically adapt. After reinserting the image, there is still some white space left below the image, but since this is not due to the table setting, we will look at it later. The last table setting that we might want to change is the table border style. For that, we select the whole table and go to the Design tab within the Table Tools. Here we can now choose the border type, the border style, and the border color. After changing any of these characteristics, Word will activate the Border Painter, with which you can click on any of the borders to change their appearance. But since we want to do this in a more efficient way, we deactivate it by clicking on it or pressing the Escape key. To change all borders at once, we click on the little arrow below the Borders button and select All Borders. Of course, if we don't want any border at all, then we can also select No Border. Or if we want specific parts of the table to have borders, we can select a different option. With that, we have applied the best settings for an image table and we can move on to step 2, the table content. As we already noticed before, the table cell still has a white space at the bottom, which doesn't come from the table settings, but from the paragraph settings. To remove that for the whole row, we select the whole row, go to the Layout tab, and there we set the spacing values for before and after to 0. And to make sure that we really remove all the white space below the image, we go to the Home tab and in the Paragraph section we click on the Line Spacing button and select 1.0. With that, all the white spaces between the image and the table cell are gone and we can insert images in the rest of the row. Then let's also insert the image captions, which we can simply copy from the file name of the images. We can of course format them and apply some settings like bold style, center alignment, and if we go to the Layout tab, we can additionally center them vertically by setting the same spacing value for before and after. And once we are satisfied with how our table looks, we move to step 3, extending the table. For that, we select both rows and press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl and C to copy them. Then we click into the paragraph below the table, go to the Home tab, click on the little arrow below the Paste button, and here we select Keep Original Table Formatting. Keep in mind that you should not use the standard Insert Below button for extending the table, because this would copy the formatting settings of the last row, and since the last row contains the caption with all sorts of spacings, it would again lead to having white space around the images. And after following this 3-step process, we have a great looking table. But as you probably noticed, all of that creates a lot of work, so let's see how fast this can be done with a macro. I pressed the keyboard shortcut Alt and 0, which I configured specifically for my macro. Then the Windows Explorer opens and here I select all images that I want to insert into the table. After I click on OK, the images are loaded into the user interface and here I can drag and drop the images. I can also zoom in to see more details on the miniature version of the images and I can choose how many columns my table should have. After confirming everything, the images are automatically loaded into the document and all the table settings and paragraph settings are handled for you. And of course, this macro can be fully customized to your needs. So if you often need to insert image tables in Word and you want to make this process more efficient to save your valuable time, then contact me and we can discuss your project. You will find my contact details in the video description below. If I solved your problem, then you could do me a huge favor by subscribing to the channel and also liking the video. Thanks a lot and I see you in the next one.